President Biden's physician releases a letter as questions surround a Parkinson's expert's repeated visits to the White House. And former President Trump's deadline to pick a VP nears, with the Republican National Convention just days away. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Tuesday, July 9th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. Ever since President Joe Biden's self-described bad night at the presidential debate, he and his team have had to field questions about his health. That was no different on Monday, when the concern centered on a Parkinson's disease expert who had recently visited the White House on several occasions. According to visitor logs, Dr. Kevin Kennard, a neurologist and movement disorder specialist from Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, visited the White House 8 times in an 8-month span between July 2023 and March 2024, including a visit with Biden's personal physician. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was asked repeatedly about the visitor log, saying Biden has seen a neurologist 3 times as part of annual physicals, but would not confirm much else, saying the White House medical unit serves multiple personnel along with the president.
I can tell you this, just going back to Parkinson's for a little bit, so to give you some answers here. Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No. So those are the things that I can give you full-blown answers on, but I'm not going to confirm a specialist, any specialist that comes to the White House out of privacy.
Hours later, White House physician Kevin O'Connor released a letter saying Dr. Kennard was the neurological specialist that examined President Biden for each of his annual physicals, including one in February that showed no signs of any neurological disorders. O'Connor says the president has not seen a neurologist outside of those physicals. The president himself wrote a letter earlier in the day to Democrats in Congress amid growing calls for him to step aside. Biden saying he is firmly committed to staying in the race. Biden joined MSNBC's Morning Joe shortly after sending that letter, saying it's the voters who chose him as the Democratic nominee.
I'm getting so frustrated by the elites. Now, I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce the president. Challenge me in the convention.
President Joe Biden will look to answer critics' calls for him to step aside as he welcomes world leaders to Washington for the NATO summit that begins today. Leaders from more than 30 NATO countries, as well as partners Australia, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, the European Union, and Ukraine, will join the president to mark 75 years of the global alliance. The summit will focus on supplying additional military and financial aid to Ukraine, including new steps to strengthen its air defenses. During the week, Biden will host an event with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and 24 other leaders. He's also set to take part in his first bilateral meeting with new UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And on Thursday, the president will hold a press conference where he will take questions from the media. Former President Trump is getting back on the campaign trail today with a rally in Florida as the deadline to announce his pick for vice president looms. In an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity last night, Trump did confirm Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum are under consideration. But as to when we'll find out who the official pick is, it seems even the former president isn't quite sure.
I think probably within the next week and a half, probably sometime. I'd love to do it during the convention. My people say that's a little complicated. You know, in the old days, they would announce the vice president during the convention. Today, with modern day technology, you can't do things that you could have done 50 years ago very easily. But probably a little before the convention, but not much. It could even be during the convention that we'd do it. I'd love to do it during the convention. I think it would be a very interesting build-up and important for the convention. It would make it even more exciting.
The Republican National Convention kicks off next Monday, July 15th in Milwaukee. At least 6 people have been confirmed dead and millions are without power after Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Texas as a Category 1 storm on Monday. Dozens of people across the state also had to be rescued from floodwaters after Beryl dropped up to 10 inches of rain in some areas, and tornadoes could be spotted across the state. Officials in Texas say it'll take several days to restore power, but they should get a better timeline at some point today. Since making landfall, Beryl has weakened to a tropical depression. It's now moving toward Arkansas, but rain from the storm is expected to hit as far north as Detroit by tonight, then dump heavy rain in Vermont by Wednesday. Jury selection begins today in actor Alec Baldwin's New Mexico trial in the deadly shooting of a cinematographer. Baldwin is charged with involuntary manslaughter in the 2021 accidental shooting death of Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust. On Monday, a judge ruled jurors will not hear evidence related to his status as a producer on the film, only his role as an actor in the movie. Baldwin admitted he was holding a prop gun when a live bullet discharged. Baldwin previously stated that he did not intentionally pull the trigger and that the gun went off. If convicted, Baldwin faces up to 18 months in prison. Our Lauren Taylor has more about the trial on the Straight Arrow News app and SAN.com. Finally, this morning, we have a price increase to tell you about, one that's been signed and sealed and next week will be delivered. Starting on July 14th, the price of a Forever stamp will cost 73 cents. That's up 5 cents from its current price. This is the second time this year the United States Postal Service has raised the cost. In January, the price of a Forever stamp went from 66 to 68 cents. And if you're thinking about sending a postcard, that price is also going up domestically by 3 cents to 56 cents and internationally by a dime to $1.65. These are your top stories for this Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.